Well, this episode of the news is brought to you by Linode. There's never been a better time to try Linode. They've got a new promo going on, and there's a link for that below. It's linode.com/level1text. The promo is free static object storage. So this is a new service that Linode is offering. What's static object storage? It's like Amazon's S3, like the S3 buckets that we're always struggling with, or struggling with other people's lack of permissions or reporting permissions issues. Linode has that service. And so you can host static files on it. You can also use secure S3 buckets for backups. So you could create an encrypted backup, store it in an S3 bucket so that only you have the key to it, so it's not public or anything like that. So if you need to store a big file or a little file or static files or movies or music or media or whatever, that will be hosted on Linode's content delivery network. You don't need a server for it. You don't need anything like that. There are some static site tutorials that Linode has for using static storage, but it's completely free if you already have a Linode account. It's completely free until March 31st, 2020, so you can try it, see how it goes. So that's pretty awesome. And if you use the link, you'll actually get a $20 credit on your new Linode account. But even if you have an old Linode account, you automatically have the free object storage functionality. So that is a new feature. You should definitely check it out and try it. If for no other reason, then it will look good for you to have tried the static storage thing on your Linode account, because it's like, hey, the level 1 connection.
What are you still doing here? Go do it now.
You really should, because it's pretty awesome. It's actually cheaper. Like S3 is one of the cheapest things that Amazon has, and Linode's option is less expensive than Amazon S3, and I'm trying it right now to actually make sure that it's better. But so far, I've been really impressed, because S3 is very kind of expensive for what it is.
It's very expensive.
Amazon
clients do not like that.
Well, no, I mean, a lot of the clients are like, yeah, let's use Amazon and we'll just pay for what we use. They literally do not understand, like, that they are just being robbed. Like, they're going to run all of their infrastructure. Amazon is great for scaling. You can scale up and down. You can do the reserved instances, but they just do not understand that they're being robbed once they're spending more than like $400 a month on Amazon infrastructure. It's just, they don't understand.
But you do.
You will as soon as you play with your Linode account. Thanks, Linode.
Thank you. Hello. Today's the 13th. It's Friday the 13th, actually.
You've made it through another week. Have a drink to celebrate. You're still alive, presumably, unlike your fellow countrymen, probably.
It's today's social and, let's just be honest, it's pandemic news, but also some other nonsense.
It's mostly nonsense.
It's mostly nonsense.
With a little bit of social media.
A sprinkle.
We always start with like Facebook news, but this is barely worth reporting. Facebook is suing Namecheap to unmask hackers who registered malicious domains. Facebook says Namecheap did not cooperate and share details about the owners of the suspicious domains.
Except the suspicious domains, like the ones they listed as examples, I feel like even the dumbest person would realize this isn't facebook.com. It was like Facebook-login with a 0.com.
I can't remember if it's a George Carlin bit or a Lewis Black bit, but I know it's a George Carlin. Imagine how dumb the average person is and then how much dumber
they actually are. Yeah.
That's the average, so that means half of people are dumber than the average person.
I would think no one would fall for that, but I guess I don't know. Facebook's clearly concerned about it if they're going after him.
I would think no one would fall for that is probably a way of explaining about 90% of the problems that are plaguing modern society.
Well, it's first rule of UX: the user's an idiot.
Also, the poster.
Never forget.
The poster in my office about meetings is also great, which is from Despair, and it says, "None of us is as dumb as all of us."
That's very true. Barb from accounting has serious thoughts about the website security.
Literally, none of us is as dumb as all of us. Speaking of which, Twitter has banned posts that dehumanize people in connection with diseases. Yes, this is a good...
There's some examples here. Leave it up so they can see them.
Age group are leeches and don't deserve any support from us, or people with blank are rats that contaminate everyone else around them. Yeah. I mean, people are terrible. Very, very terrible.
I mean, Twitter says that they're going to do this, but there's such a large volume of tweets full of hate, and there's only so much people to moderate that content.
We are going to stop the Nile from flooding the river valley,
The Delta.
by blowing on it.
It's just never going to work. It's never going to work.
Twitter is also testing another thing in Brazil called fleets.
This is basically just Snapchat stories, which I'll be honest and say I don't really understand stories very well either.
Well, you create a tweet and they last for 24 hours, but you can't really retweet them or anything like that. You can only just react to them.
Which I just don't get it, because like Facebook and Instagram have also implemented it, and I don't understand the appeal.
I think it's exploiting I think it's a psychological hack. So there's that fear of missing out, and it's like, this is going to be gone in 24 hours. And it's like, I'm following Kanye on the Fleet machine, and he might say something that I really enjoy because Kanye.
He's going to announce his album drop, and you're not going to see it because it's only a 24-hour announcement.
It's a Fleet, and I'm gonna miss out if I'm not on there. And you need to recognize for what that is, which is it's exploiting your evolved biochemistry, and you need to stop.
I don't really understand the appeal.
Someone that's addicted to Twitter.
Yeah. You would probably love that, because it's like, oh.
I haven't installed TikTok, haven't installed Snapchat. Snapchat's part of the evil
I've
empire.
come close to Instagram a couple times because I'm like, that'd be a nice place to like showcase artwork, but then it's like, but it's owned by Facebook.
So I'm working on the house remodel, and I'm looking for ideas because, again, fear of missing out, and because I've taken one of the bathrooms back to the floor joists.
Yeah.
And so I don't have a lot of space to work with in there, and it's like I have to. It's basically the traveling salesperson problem, but with locations of bathroom fixtures. And so I want to maximize the space, but not compromise on anything. And so I've got to like really figure this out. So I'm feeling a lot like it's the guy that wrote Mythical Man Month wrote The Design of Design, and in the first chapter he talks about how he's like rejiggering his house so that he can have a room for his piano, and that's me right now, except I'm rejiggering the bathroom to have a full-size bathtub. And
how many sketches have you done?
About 70 or so. And if you Google like floor plan and there's some constraints because there's a chimney in the corner of the bathroom, and so if you Google it, Instagram comes up like all over the place. I have to add minus Instagram to my search results because
then it's all Pinterest.
Yeah, and it's just or Instagram and Pinterest, and it's like
Pinterest is the worst for that.
The previews look amazing because there's a Pinterest pin that's like, here is 50 different bathroom layouts, and it's like, that seems like exactly what I need, and I click on it, it's like
it's clickbait, and like the images are like this big.
Yeah, and it's just like this is not acceptable.
Yeah, I always put minus Pinterest when I'm looking for that kind of stuff.
Yeah. It's like, and then it's like, maybe if I move the door slightly, and then it's
not worth it.
Yeah, it turns into I'm just chasing the pot of gold at the end of the rainbow. Just gonna have to do something and live with the fact that it's not gonna be perfect. It's gonna be better than it was, though. I guarantee that.
Which bathroom is this?
The upstairs one.
Oh, okay.
The upstairs one.
That was like the worst one. The rest were all right, but
it's becoming 2, and it's getting a tile floor.
Ooh, what kind of tile?
3-inch marble.
Fancy.
Well, it's on sale.
Oh.
We got enough of it to do. It's
is it like the subway tile kind of style, or?
Yeah. It's like the total floor space is 18.5 by 8.5, and it's going to be split into 2 bathrooms.
You should take like a before picture and after and put it on Patreon.
Probably we'll do some videos and stuff. I don't think, like, I'm kind of handy, it turns out, I guess, because of working on this place. Because like, a long time ago, it's like, oh, this is scary. And, having a cast iron pipe dump raw sewage on you a couple of times.
A couple, not just once.
I can fix anything now.
I'm not even afraid. I've had the worst happen to me.
I've had my hepatitis shot and my tetanus shot. I'm all good. I'm immune.
Here for it.
Anyway, prescription ads on Facebook, pharmaceutical ads. Why are they there? What's going on? The short version of this WAPO article is because they're effective.
And
old people buy medicine from Facebook, which again, how scary is that?
Well, it's the same reason they advertise on TV, because old people are home all day and they see the ads. But I think, if I remember correctly, I don't think that advertising for medicine is allowed in like the EU. They do not allow that, not on TV or online. So I wonder if they'll get another fine.
Because people are dumb and you can't self-diagnose?
Yeah. And they're like, it's just, don't do that. Let the doctor prescribe it. So that's not allowed in Europe. So how long before we have a story Where Europe's like, no, you can't do that, Facebook.
The most dangerous thing is actually not a dumb person. It's a smart person in some things that
thinks they're smart in everything.
Yes, and we're guilty of that sometimes.
Never. I would never do that.
And it's like, oh yes, I can figure this out, and I'm going to do this horrible thing, like redo my bathroom. It's like, no, that was a terrible mistake. I should not have done that.
I should have hired a professional for this.
I am hiring a professional to do the tile work. I'm just going to give them a level subfloor before we do that. Because I know how to run a level, at least. I'm not completely useless.
In before. The floor's just
Narrator.
Like
it was not level.
It was not level.
NYU Law video teaching about copyright was removed from YouTube for copyright infringement. So they reached out, and they were like trying to figure it out and understand it. And this went on for several weeks. And then they reached out, sort of back channel to YouTube and never got any explanation, although the copyright claim was removed. As welcome to YouTube.
Yeah. It's so frustrating. Like, the frustrating for me is like, what did I do wrong, and how can I fix it? And the answer is nothing. Like, nothing.
It's like, oh, it's been removed for all this stuff, and it's like, but wait, what? We have.
This is like the definition of fair use, right? Like an educational platform.
Yeah, they literally had students record for this thing, so it turns out that
YouTube's terrible.
Yeah, it really is.
Demonetized.
Robots. We get a little bit of robot.
Just
a little,
3
stories, 3 or 4 or 6
crumb,
or something like that. So this
hit play so they can watch it.
Turns out Google robot teaches itself to walk without human help in just a few hours. So
it's like 15 hours before the video starts to make sense. But look, there he kind of figures it out.
Oh, he's like, he's going, he's doing stuff. So this is their learning. This is not.
That's horrible.
Yeah. That was just the article author being like, oh, yeah, look at that. This is being sent into space. It totally doesn't look like the robot from Halo at all.
It's terrifying.
It's just machine learning and making sure that it can learn to walk.
It's crazy that it takes less than 24 hours. Like, that's...
Yeah.
And it moves around. It moves its little legs like a spider.
Facebook has its own data center robots now too, and Site Engineering Robotics Team. So they can patrol the halls looking for heat signatures and making sure that nothing is malfunctioning or servers are not malfunctioning, because sometimes servers will run hot and people can't see that, but robots can with infrared vision. So this is just another way to get it done with no humans.
And no humans that are prone to disease.
Self-servicing data center. Some alien civilization visits, and it's like, wow, this solar-powered data center is still operating with robots. Like, who built you? I don't understand.
There's been no life on this planet for thousands of years.
Turkey's killer drone swarm is posing a Syrian air challenge to Putin. So, yeah, Turkey has got a killer swarm of drones. They can go a little bit kamikaze, so a little bit of a problem for Putin there. Yeah.
This article goes into a lot of the background about why this is probably a bad thing, but...
Yeah. Well, it's accessible. I mean, if Syria can do it, can you imagine what we have that's classified that we don't know
We
about?
have no idea, yeah.
Probably a lot.
We've hit the nonsense section in this article.
It's a little close to home.
It's very close to home. My old Kentucky home, which is a joke that the author of the article also made, if you read it.
William Shatner gets horse semen in divorce settlement. His ex got the Kentucky home, so that's
his
the
old Kentucky home. That's our state anthem. If you didn't know.
They had 4 racehorses apparently, and she
kept
got 2.
Pebbles. Pebbles was the cutest name, and I was like, oh.
And he got to keep 2, but he also got to keep all the horse breeding equipment and everything else that goes with that.
Yeah, there's like a whole thing with horse breeding around here where it's like, the stud fees alone are thousands of dollars, so
they separated
he gets all that.
In February of 2019.
How long have they been married?
Probably, I don't know.
It seems like he's old enough that he would be probably married for a long time. That's sad.
They got rid of, she gets to keep the home in Versailles, which is actually how it's pronounced in Kentucky.
Yeah, we know it's Versailles if you're French. In Kentucky, it's Versailles. And there's a castle there.
That castle's amazing, y'all.
And it's up for sale again as well. Ugh. If you'd like to buy a castle.
If we were Linus-sized, we could probably buy the castle and then do all of the videos there.
I think they want like millions for it.
I think that if we were Linus-sized, we could definitely afford that. I don't think that's a particularly good real estate investment, though.
No, the person who bought it before turned it into a restaurant, I think, and the restaurant did not do well. Yeah, it was too expensive.
Well, it's a restaurant that caters to high-end clientele, and as William Shatner said in this article, he only came to the house here like twice a year.
Probably for like holidays, yeah.
Yeah. So it's like that's not enough to support the aforementioned castle. So not good. So
he didn't live in the castle.
No.
The castle.
No. Well,
Castle.
I mean, but he might have gone to the restaurant there.
He probably did, actually.
So. Semen-filled syringes recovered after grocery store stabbing attack.
So I missed this one, and I don't know the full context.
There's a video.
Me.
There's a security video.
Oh.
Yeah, it's like...
But, that's kind of the type you would expect.
And it's just like, yeah, they recovered, like, what a terrible, messed up crime. But thanks to technology, they were able to catch him. And, yeah, a man is shown holding syringes before jabbing it into the woman shown in the grocery store.
Who does that?
In Churchton, Maryland.
What's his plan? Just, I don't want to know.
Didn't want his wife to get it in the divorce settlement?
It wasn't his wife, was it? It was just some random lady.
That was a joke about the Shatner story.
Oh. I'll take it.
WJLA says not-so-friendly neighborhood Spider-Man has been accused of exposing himself to a woman in Manassas.
Dressed as Spider-Man.
The only reason this story is here is because I once did some work in Manassas, and I stayed at a hotel, and there was a shooting at the hotel, so I didn't get any sleep. And I was like, that's scary. That's really scary, because like the bullets could have gone through the wall, and it would have been like really insane. And they were like, no, there's shootings here fairly regular. And I was like, what? There's like a Holiday Inn or a Motel 8 or something, and it wasn't like...
Yeah,
wasn't
like totally just a normal hotel, yeah.
Yeah. And so...
Middle of the road.
It was like 5 o'clock in the morning, and I was still like kind of shaking. And I went to a Denny's, and there was this smell of like burned terribleness in the Denny's. And I was like, did you guys just like set somebody's breakfast on fire? And... there was a little bit of a line, so I had to stand there for like 15 minutes breathing this. And then they seated me, and they seated me at a booth, and there was, multiple sections of booths. And in the next section over, I could see a booth that had like caution tape around it, and it was like somebody had a flamethrower, and they just set the entire booth on fire. And it was like...
What happens in this town?
What is going on in Manassas, Virginia? And I asked the waitress, and I was like, "What happened over there?" And she was like, "Some guy poured out something and set it on fire and left, and we didn't notice right away, and so it was just cordoned off." And I was like, "Why are you guys open for business?" And they're like, "Well, there's a lot of people here, and we need to open for business. So we didn't, it's just
we'll just replace the booth."
Yeah, but it was like the booth and the chair, and it was like all charred and weird, and it smelled really bad in there. And it's like, did the food preparation area get the soot cleared off of it? Like, why am I at a Denny's with... I think it was
the question is, you can just end that right there. Why am I at a Denny's? And it would be fine. But also, like, this whole story, so I was telling Wendell this, I was like, if you're ever out walking, like, I think every woman knows this. If someone, like, slows down their car next to you, you don't look. You never look. It doesn't matter if the guy's dressed as Spider-Man is not. You don't look.
I was at the hotel asleep, and it was, like, I heard the noise, and... then it's a hotel, so it's like, but it was, just off-putting. And then there were some people that were screaming, and then there were police cars, and then there were sirens, and there was like one police.
Did you just come out and be like, "Can you guys keep it down, please?"
Well, yeah, I mean, there was a police car that pulled up like 15 minutes later, and it just left its siren on the entire time, and it was just right outside my door, and it was just like, can we just leave the lights on? Is it what?
Did you feel the need to wash your hands?
I feel like
Manassas.
I feel like the sleep deprivation maybe amplified the level of annoyance, and I have never been back to Manassas since then. It was bad. It was really bad. I
was trying to give you a segue.
Oh, right. Wash my hands. Tito's Vodka asks people not to use their vodka as hand sanitizer, although it would have been effective sanitizing my memories of Manassas.
Well, I guess it depends on how much alcohol. What's the alcohol content of Tito's?
It was 40%.
Oh, it's not enough.
Yeah, it should be 60%, I think.
You could use Everclear.
60% contain at least 60% alcohol. So my 91% aerosolized. That's pretty good. That helps it evaporate faster.
Did you know that some states don't allow the sale of Everclear?
because it's so...
It's so strong, yeah.
It's
Kentucky does, but I don't know about... I think like California doesn't allow it.
In like electronics cleaning, I had stocked up on 99% isopropyl alcohol, but I'm finally getting low. And it's very hard to buy 99% anymore. And I asked why, and they said because it was a fire hazard, but I don't know if I 100% believe that.
I mean, it technically is. You can use it in an alcohol stove, but like...
91 versus 99, is it really that much different?
It's not, no.
So, seems like that's
you
a
can use either
cost-saving
percentage.
measure. Zillow's Spencer Rascoff lists his Brentwood Park home for $7 million over his Zestimate.
I do love the Zestimate system.
We've covered Zillow a few times in the past because Zillow will just take data from your area and give you an estimate. And it's not based on anything to do with your home at all. It's just
what other homes in the area have sold for and what they think your house would be worth.
And that kind of makes sense because if you have a neighborhood that's filled with, $200,000 houses, you're not going to sell, like, no matter what you do to your house. If you raise it to the ground and you build a 7-story underground bunker that has an underground swimming pool, it is not going to sell for $7 million in a $200,000 neighborhood. It's just not.
No.
So
the rich people don't want to be around us riffraff.
Yeah. So he's asking $7 million over his estimate. So he's like, it's obviously a super upgraded home, but didn't realize that Zillow would generate that kind of income. I feel like I've done something, like I should have done that. Like that should have been my thing.
I think his house was like 14,000 square feet.
That's a lot.
Doesn't that make you sick a little bit?
Yeah. I mean, that's the kind of...
Do you think it's just him and his wife?
Probably. That's the kind of house where you would need at least 2 or 3 full-time people just to maintain it.
Just to clean it and like mow the lawn and
Property records show that Rascoff paid $19.7 million for the property in 2016.
Sorry, it's 12,000 square feet.
So he's asking 24, he paid 19. That's some pretty good appreciation.
Damn.
I mean, that's more than you get on bonds. Also, this story is very sad.
Yeah, I wish it wasn't in here.
A cat in India faces deportation to China on coronavirus fears.
Look at him. He's a Scottish fold.
He was a stowaway on a container ship. And the container ship stopped in China, among other places, but they wouldn't let him off the ship in port, and they're probably going to send him back to China.
No.
Poor cat.
He probably doesn't care.
The headline is, the cat is unlikely to survive because of the ignorance of the coronavirus. It's like, can the cat even survive the coronavirus? It's like, no.
Do they know if it even goes to cats? I know that they said that they think it's transmissible to dogs, but...
I don't like ships. No, I don't. This is
just an excuse to kill a cat.
Yeah, everything here is wrong. Sorry. Coronavirus porn, though, is officially a thing after Horny panic hits an all-time high.
This is a great stock photo. Someone spent some time on that.
I don't know. Ryan put this one in here.
Yeah, this is wow. What a great GIF. It's literally, I mean, it is what it says on the tin. Like, apparently people are making porn that is somehow coronavirus themed.
I guess you could, you throw the nurse in there. It's like, nurse, I think. And it's
but
like,
the hazmat suit really makes it difficult.
If things go really horribly wrong, funerals could be streamed online. If it actually does become a pandemic.
What is the definition of pandemic? It's on almost every continent at this point.
Yeah, I think it pretty much is.
It pretty much is, yeah.
The National Association of Funeral Directors has told Sky News that one option might include the webcasting of services.
I feel like this would not give you real closure.
The stories that are coming out of China suggest that there's no time for that.
I thought China was slowing down a little bit last I heard.
Yeah, they are, I guess. By the time that this is airing, there's probably definitely confirmation of that. But I think that first world nations are struggling with it to such an extent that it is going to be devastating to the third world.
Yeah.
So, speaking of things that might be devastating, parents allow an 11-year-old to drive their car because they were sick of him playing GTA all day. And this stock photo,
I hope that's a real picture of him. I don't know that it is, but he looks so happy. Also, who lets an 11-year-old play GTA?
I don't know. They let him, the driver of this car was 11 years old. Yes, 11. A family member was fed up with the child playing Grand Theft Auto. And so they brought him out to practice driving on a car park in Blackpool. The adult has been reported for traffic offenses. Womp womp.
Wow.
Yeah, it turns out you have to get a learner's permit.
You can't get that if you're 11 in the States. You have to be 16.
Yeah. And also, you're not supposed to be playing GTA if you're not old enough. 11 seems like
11, like, you know, I'd say that the age thing is probably a guideline on the box, but like 11 seems like almost universally too young to play GTA.
Yes.
Just because of the language, like little kids aren't smart enough at that age to know, like, I shouldn't go into school and say the things that I hear them say in GTA.
I'm infected with something. I shouldn't go to school.
What?
They don't know that either.
They don't know that, and their parents sometimes don't either.
But you know what might keep them home a little bit, or at least might make the stay home if you have to work from home a little bit better, is a workstation like this, although it looks kind of cheaply made. Japan has created the ultimate gaming bed, so you never have to rejoin society again. This is actually modular, though. And it looks like, I like the idea, I just think the execution is really crappy, because this is like that furniture that bends easy and is rickety, and the screws will never stay tight. So this is like
This
a
is
little
like
rolly
Big Lots
thing.
furniture.
And, yeah, I mean, this furniture looks, I mean, the
Is there
concept
like a
is fine.
food cart behind them? I didn't see that.
Yeah, there's like chips and stuff like that in there.
But is there a fridge?
Not in this shot.
We need a cooler.
But this is all modular, so this is a height adjustable desk, and it looks like there's a break there, so this may not even be electric. Like, we have some of those nice electric desks here at the office.
This is one.
But so
I like this guy, whoever this is sleeps in a sleeping bag.
yeah, but they don't necessarily, and you know, get this like this. I could go for this. Like there was one of the hotels I stayed at in Taiwan had this
That
kind
would
of a
be
thing,
nice.
and it was like, oh, I need this. This
Because
is great.
do you ever drop your phone on your
I
phone?
do.
Like,
Yeah, and so I don't really like the bed option, but it doesn't like because it's modular. You can also do the chair option.
Oh, that's
like,
cool.
Yeah, so this is basically my office setup as is right now. Anyway, but with better furniture. It's just, you know, I don't know. And of course, everything's ROG because Asus has to get in on this, right? I mean, so
This will be like the hotness for streamers in like 6 months.
I can see like some of the Twitch streamers that the thoughts probably they're like, oh yeah, let's partner with ROG and do this, and it's just
Let's just take it to the next level. Just remove another barrier.
I mean, that's basically what this is.
Why is the guy wearing a mask in the first shot?
Coronavirus.
Obviously.
I think they're kind of androgynous, actually.
I don't know.
Is that an L1? Are they
He's
wearing
wearing
an
an
L1
L1
hoodie? No,
he's not.
That's not what it is.
He's not.
And that's pretty much an end to the nonsense. I hope you're surviving.
We're
and
surviving and sometimes
staying
thriving.
productive. And thanks again to Linode for sponsoring this week's episodes of the news.
We appreciate it, brother.
That's it. We'll see you next week.
Bye.